rather than come here. Yeah, I know.
One problem with that, can't see wrong.
Now we can turn it a little bit.
You don't need to see me.
Do you want me to turn it?
No, you're good.
I'm not even sure how well.
If I just lean ahead like.
Then we're too close.
This works just right.
Yeah.
I'm good, thanks.
Smile for the camera.
Well, we ready?
Yep, you can go.
Okay. Call the meeting to order, and I'll give the prayer. Our Father in heaven, we thank thee for the opportunity we have to live in this great community. We thank thee for the many blessings that we enjoy living here in St. Anthony and in the Upper Valley. We thank thee for the United States, for the freedoms, liberties that we enjoy. We thank thee for all the people that have sacrificed to let us be able to enjoy these freedoms. I ask you to watch over us tonight, to be with us, help us make the decisions that need to be made, that we can lead the city, do the things that need to be done. We do this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. And Scott, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we'll open the floor up for any public comment. If anybody has anything?
I've just got one thing.
Name and address.
Cody Smith with Glenwood Snacks down on the industrial park. I put a big speech together that I wanted to give you guys tonight, but, I figure I'll cut it short for you guys. We're having a couple issues with the construction that is being performed down there on the industrial park. It's causing a lot of hardship for us, with garbage not being picked up from the garbage providers. We're not getting deliveries down there. All of the companies are refusing to come down there, saying that there's just not adequate access to the facility. Even the USPS mail won't even deliver down there. So, for the last couple of weeks, we've been having to actually go and pick our mail up. But that's not the issues that are really getting kind of out of hand. When this whole thing started, it started with no notice to us. And when we tried to call and figure out who was actually doing this project, it was, well, the county's doing it. And then the county said, no, the city's doing it. And the city said, no, the county's doing it. You got to call the county. Call the county and say, no, they're not doing it. It's the city. So there's a lot of confusion off the get-go about who was actually doing this project. But the thing that really started this whole thing off was the road being closed and our employees not having access to the facility. So the first morning they go to, put the signs up, none of our employees show up for work that day. So we had to shut down the facility, call all our employees and say, hey, we're actually working. You just kind of got to go around, the roadblocks. That wasn't an issue. We took care of that. Then the construction people showed up and said, hey, we need to shut your water off for a couple hours. Well, we're running a USDA regulated facility, and shutting the water off is just not an easy task. Yeah, we are required by law to have running water all the time that we are in operation. If our water shuts down, we have to shut down. And right now, we're operating at about $4,000 an hour. So if we were to shut down for 3 hours, that's $12,000. And where's that money supposed to come from? Are we just gonna front that bill? Or is the construction company responsible for that? These are the little things that we just need to take care of. We were able to negotiate with the construction company to get them to do it on a Saturday where it wouldn't affect production. And that was all good and well. But when they did that, they dug up the road and then just put a little goat trail, what I call it, a little goat trail around it, right? That little goat trail, it wasn't really quite big enough for a 53-foot semi to make it around. Now, we get a meat load delivery every Monday. And for about 2 weeks in a row, the meat loads that we were getting delivered, they come in 2,000-pound bins of just raw meat. Each one of those bins costs $7,000. And we've had 7 of those break open because of the bumpiness of that little area. I won't say it's probably all because of that reason, but since we've never had one before break open, we're just trying to, say, hey, it's got to be something relative to that. Now, we're not asking, you guys to change anything about what you did. We just want to be included in the conversation if it's going to be something that affects the day-to-day business that we're trying to run. Because it's, like I said, if the water's getting shut off and the garbage isn't getting picked up, and it took, 3 days of calling the PSI who does the garbage out there for them to actually come back up and pick the garbage up. And we're not putting out just little amounts of garbage. We have 3 big 8-yard dumpsters that we fill up and get dumped twice a week. So when those 3 fill up, we've got nowhere else to put garbage. So then it creates a harborage issue for garbage, and if you're holding on to garbage, you're attracting pests and birds and all that stuff, and those are just coming down and making a mess, and again making an extra harborage on us. Like I said, we're not trying to say, hey, you guys need to run everything through us, but we just want to be involved in the conversation next time. And that's all I got for you guys.
I had a question. Cody and I talked about this earlier, and I recommended he come this evening and just let us know what's going on. Is it possible that DePatco's bond could be exercised somewhat for your damages?
We're not looking for money. Like I said, all we're here to do is just open the conversation for next time, because we know that there's going to be a next time. There's a lot of lots down there for sale, and we encourage people to come down. We think it's great. We've had nothing but good things to say about the area. But like I said, what we're just looking for is maybe a little bit more discussion next time when there's a project of this undertaking that's going to affect our business so much. Because even though they've moved past the entrance to our facility, the road closure signs are still there, and I'm sure you guys have all seen a delivery truck driver, even the people that deliver to your houses. They make it about halfway to the door and they might chuck your package. Well, I can tell you that the delivery truck drivers are a little worse. They don't want to get out of their truck to have to move a road closed sign out of the way so they can make it through with their truck. And they'll just flat out say, oh, we weren't able to make it to your facility. We'll send somebody up tomorrow. And so we've been missing a lot of ship dates because of that, because the trucking companies just see the road closed sign, they turn around and take off. So
Before the construction started, who was responsible to communicate with all the business owners that were affected by the construction and kind of give them the game plan? Was it any entity? Was it a DePatco thing? Was it a city thing? Was it a county thing? Was there anybody responsible to communicate with the affected business owners?
I can speak personally. We weren't, nobody said anything to us. The only thing that we saw is that the sheriffs put out a notice on Facebook the morning of. And I believe that's the only announcement that was made.
So who is it, Paco that's responsible for the construction, is it city, county? Who's responsible for the?
I mean, it's our project, so I suppose we're responsible, and in the first construction meeting, I don't remember it really being addressed about going to Glenwood and talking to
It
them,
was
so.
addressed in the the meetings, from the beginning is, what do we do for traffic control? So we can make sure all the businesses and everybody else gets the proper access that they need. At first, the traffic control plan was not adhered to, that's why they weren't in deliveries, because it said road closed. After we realized that, a couple days later, we got signs up, says business access, which it's opened up enough, there's business access. He's right, there was a little goat trail around there, they said something about it, we got that fixed, we got the road filled in, they can still access it. So all the issues that he's saying now, unfortunately, they were issues, I believe they've all been addressed.
Yeah, and that's what, and like I said, I'm not here to say that they haven't been addressed.
And,
All I want to do is open the discussion for in the future so that these issues don't happen again.
And the next time we start doing something, because there's a potential we're gonna go from the lift station, go that way, up to 500. If we start doing that, we come and talk to you personally.
And like I said, that's all we're asking for. It's just a little heads up, it's been kind of a little bit of issue, but we're dealing with it, and we're trying to make the best of it. And
How many employees do you have, Cody?
right now, well, since we've talked the last, I think we've hired about 10 more people, so I think we're about 95 employees right now. We're hoping to be about 130 employees by January.
See, that's-
Granted that we can
That is huge.
continue pulling them in.
That's just huge for a town.
Well, and I'll apologize,
We're not, and like I said, we're not looking for an apology, we're not looking
Well,
to look back.
it should have been addressed, and, I will take responsibility for it. It should have been taken care of, if
Right.
we do
And-
something.
Right,
we'll
like I
make
said,
sure that
we're just
you're-
looking to make sure that, next time we have an issue, and that there continues to not be an issue. Like this morning, there was a sheriff's deputy that was, parked right on the other side of the entrance going in there and was flashing his lights at every single person that drove in. And so all our people were going, hey, are we not supposed to be coming to work? Are we not supposed to be going through there?
That's because he ripped out a gas line,
Okay.
so he was just.
Right, and so, we don't know those things, and so everybody's going, hey, are we not supposed to go through there? Are we supposed to go through? Again, we just want to open up for discussion next time that we have, a project of this undertaking.
It would seem to me too, that going forward, little things like the gas line or whatever, if they happen, it'd be nice to have someone, even if it's cold, stand there at the entrance to the industrial park that says it's okay to come in, here's what we're doing. So you don't have some employees turn out and go home.
Right.
If they see
And
flashing
I
lights or something.
can see the frustration in the guys that are working down there. I mean, I know they're frustrated, because we're coming in and out of there all the time. I see other people, trying to squeeze through there as they're, trying to do their construction, and, they finally just block the whole road off. And, we're telling our people, hey, make sure you guys aren't going that way. But, we do have some employees that live directly right, where they're doing the construction. So, they're trying to pull out and go to their houses, and it's just, it's a mess, but it's getting better. So that's all I gotta say. And thank you for your guys' time.
Yeah, thank you, Cody.
Okay,
What problem we have as our city grows? We're just not used to having those kind of issues because we've never done stuff like this before. I guess we kind of learn on the fly a little bit, and we can learn, and we'll get better.
Anytime we have done it, is somebody else has done it for us.
Yeah,
West
we've
Main,
always had,
that's always, somebody else took care of everything for us.
and we've paid millions for that privilege.
And so, yeah, it's a learning experience. And unfortunately with construction, there is going to be inconveniences for everybody.
And I can certainly visit with CSI, and if they've missed any pickups, we can reimburse them for those
You know,
missed
I
pickups.
think even a small gesture like that would speak volumes. I really do. Because he could have come in here mad and yelling and cussing, and you cost me $4,000 an hour. You know, and
He
all that, but
was
he
mad
did.
to begin with. We didn't
Well, sure he
know,
was.
yeah, and we've kind of worked through a lot of
Mhm.
those things, and I'll certainly look at his account tomorrow and contact CSI.
I think it'd be nice,
We'll
just a
make some
gesture.
adjustments to his garbage.
Man, 95 employees,
Some
that's the
needs
largest
to
employer
communicate.
in Fremont County. And going to 125 with the first year. They're really making a huge investment here and trying to.
You know, and they're still having issues down there with, you know, the
Can I say
signs
something?
and everything.
Can they possibly move the road closed sign or the barricade down beyond where it's at now and just put like a close to through traffic or something where it's at now?
Well, probably for a little while, but here in a few days, we're gonna be down here at the lift station again doing more work.
Do more? I just want, yeah, they'll move.
Because right now, today they got to cross the road going into the field there at Vance's. So they're gonna get that backfilled. They're gonna continue on because they got, that side of the canal now to do. So once they do that, then we're gonna move back down this end. They got a couple more bolts to put in at the lift station, dig across the road again to put power in. And then, depending on what everybody decides, if you want to go down 500, continue with the 500 project, before too long, they'll be ripping that half of the road up.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get some of it done so they can, when they get that back down to this end again, they can close the road off and have them come in from that. So this is just a jumping game.
I just wondered if they could move it down for a little while
Yeah.
to past the industrial park road. That would, for a delivery truck driver, that would,
Right.
you know,
I'm sorry they can't read.
well.
It's clear, so it says
there-
business access and great big signs at both ends.
Yeah, but there hasn't been much room to drive through there, because I drive through there, go to the airport all the time.
And they gotta keep it
I'm
narrow
going down
because,
in the gutter and everything else.
because people are impatient and inconsiderate. They'll drive right through that middle of that construction if there's nothing split in the middle of that road.
Yeah, that's why I said
It's
we could
not-
barricade it down further.
It's
And
not the fact of, oh, I'm going to my house, I'm going all the way through it. And there's been many, many, many of them that just go straight on through. They don't
You
get
had a
it
school
on
bus that went through there,
Through the airport.
across the runway
Yes,
and out the airport.
yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah,
The school
I think it was a
bus, I think
Teton
he-
school
I think he
bus.
said about 10 cars too.
Yeah,
So they finally had to put the gate up, put one of the big barricades across the
people just
road.
don't pay
to
attention.
stay
I
out.
know.
I was driving through
Well,
there
we
the
have
other,
issues with them stealing the signs too. so.
Some roads.
I was driving through the other day,
Yeah.
after hours looking at it, it was narrow, and some car come ripping up by me and passed me in the middle of that construction. I had to swerve way over because he was coming around,
Well, and
kept on going.
the other day they come to work and the barricade down at that end, the barrel was cleaned down here at Cheryl Vance's house because it was stuck under the car that hit it. They took out the barricades and just kept on installing signs. And so construction is tough.
Yeah, and it's temporary.
Right. It's gonna go away.
And Cody's being reasonable about it, you know, he came over and seen me at my house, because we live, he lives across the street. He was real pleasant, he was upset at first, but he's calmed right down, he's not mad now, he just was frustrated. And he got dinged quite a bit of money.
So, Scott, if we know, like, can somebody call and let him know, hey, the gas line's broke? Is there some way we can let him know to let his employees know? Like, with the gas line or whatever,
Well, I
like,
don't
maybe
know why
like,
the
hey.
police were sitting there flashing their lights because you couldn't get anywhere close to where the gas line was broke. And usually with the gas line, you'll have the police and the fire department there and they'll block the road
Right,
prior to and
so we don't know where the officer was sitting at his,
it was a county officer was up there. But when I saw them up there, they were clean up in front of Cheryl Vance's house.
right,
Because I pulled up behind them and went over to see what was going on with them. And I didn't see nobody there flashing lights. If there's somebody there earlier in the morning doing it, it's probably because they were speeding.
I think his crew, don't they go in at 7 in the morning? I know Paul, my neighbor, I thought, he works for him, I think he starts at 7 in the morning. So maybe they're showing up, 7:15 or whatever, what's dark.
More than likely, it's because they're speeding.
Could be.
And these flashers lights, instead of being, giving them a ticket.
Yeah.
Because have you ever seen how fast people go on that road?
No, it's bad. It's-
Teton Highway and Industrial Park? It's 40, 50 miles an hour.
I have the same problem in front of my house.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay. We'll close the public comment, and we have a public hearing scheduled to vacate the alleyway at South Third West. Patty, did everything get?
Yes, everything was published and everyone was notified properly. You want me to report on it? We received a petition from Ray Loveland representing Stones Town and Country requesting the vacation of a platted public alleyway belonging to the city of St. Anthony. You can see on our screen above, if you look at the computer screen, the alley in question is this one running east and west in block 32 of the South St. Anthony subdivision. That alleyway on either side of it is owned by Stones Town and Country. So if the alley is vacated, half would go to this side and half goes to this side, which is basically the same property owner. Well, not basically, it is.
It is.
And you'll see that there is a building built on top of the alleyway that belongs to Stones Town and Country. And so this is why they're making that request, is because their building sits in our alleyway. According to Public Works, there are no services that go through that alleyway, water or sewer. And so, and we received no public comment, written, phone, and apparently, I'm not sure, but maybe these, I know that's Ray. That's Ray right there, and his son. And so that's my report, and I guess we can hear from Mr. Loveland and his son.
You guys want to comment? I mean, it's pretty open and closed. Okay, being no comments, we'll close the public hearing and move on. Ordinance 2020 to be decided, to be determined.
So this ordinance, ordinance 2020 to be determined, is the ordinance if you should decide to vacate that alleyway and give it to the property owners on either side. This is that ordinance which would do that.
Okay, any discussion?
I'll make a motion, make sure I do this right, because you usually do. We suspend the rules and read the ordinance by title only. Did I do that right?
Once.
One time. Never done that one before. Excited.
Okay. Motion's made and seconded, suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title only one time. Chad?
Aye.
Wendy?
Aye.
Rick?
Aye.
Rod?
Aye.
Two Rods?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Who would like to read?
All right. Okay. Ordinance number 2020 to be determined, an ordinance vacating an alley within the city of St. Anthony, Idaho, particularly describing the alley, authorizing and directing the mayor and city clerk to execute and deliver a quitclaim deed conveying the vacated alley to the owner of the adjacent land, provided for effective date of the ordinance, providing for effective date of the ordinance. I'll make a motion, we approve ordinance 2020 to be determined regarding the vacation of this property.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve ordinance 2020 to be determined for the vacation of the alley. Russ?
Aye.
Rod?
Aye.
Rick.
Aye.
Rod.
Aye.
Chad.
Aye.
Wendy.
Aye.
Lost track. All right, we'll get you a deed made up and recorded and everything.
Thank you.
I will give you all, it'll take me some time, we'll get it done.
It's fine. I'm not in a hurry.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next item of business. Commissioner Miller contacted me and wanted to know if the city was interested in sending a letter out similar to what the city of Rexburg sent out. And, you know, he said the county probably would, if we did it, county, you know, would want to be included in it. So, I don't know if you've seen that letter. I read it and my personal opinion got in the way, so I disregarded it. Basically, it was just sent out to residents and businesses asking people to please take responsibility, wear a mask. That if you wear a mask, eventually you'll get your freedom back. I mean, that was at the end of the letter. And so I told him I would ask you guys what you thought about.
So it's just encouraging people to do what they've been yelled at for the last 7 months every day.
Basically.
Do we really need to put that in a letter from the city? I mean, it's on the news every day, all day. We've been.
You all know my personal opinion. If people want to wear a mask, they can wear a mask. If they don't, you know, social distance, there's gotta be some personal responsibility. It isn't up to us to be the mask police, in my opinion.
I kind of feel like it's redundant. The governor's office has done it, the Department of Health has done it. We heard every day.
Yeah, I agree.
Every day, all day.
We even, in church, even tell people that,
Yeah.
you know, you shouldn't be wearing a mask, but we're not being enforced.
So,
So I don't think it's anything necessary myself.
I got a little nervous here. I was in the bank on Monday and I said, this is kind of funny. He's standing here with a mask on telling you I want money. I said, nobody's calling the police. Here we are.
well, and there are certain people that are looking to take advantage of this situation. We had a gentleman go out to Brolin's, videotape around, and then call corporate and threaten to sue us because we were not making everybody coming into our store wear a mask. And it
What are you
was
supposed to do? Take them down hog time and put a mask on?
corporate kind of told him take a flying leap. But, I mean, that is honestly how far some people are going. He was recorded in our store and then called our corporate office that we were not standing at the door making people put masks on.
Maybe even taking the readers in Walmart away.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's somebody sanitizing the hand in the cars, and nobody's standing there with masks.
Yeah.
And yesterday, there was at least half. Normally, they did a pretty good job of making sure everybody had a mask when they went in. 50% went in without a mask on. When you get in the store, I'm guessing 30% were the total number of people that had masks on. So even Walmart's not standing there with it.
Well, Brolin's, it's probably 50-50. And again, I don't have a problem. People want to wear a mask. I wear one out there because I'm required to. If I wasn't required to, I wouldn't have one. But I told him I'd ask, so I'll let him know that we don't feel a pressing need to do that.
When you have a private business, Rollins could say, if you ever want to shop in our store ever, you gotta wear a mask. Because they're private. You could do the same with yours. Rick could do that same with his business. He could say, if you want to work for me, you gotta wear a mask always. That's freedom for them to do that. But for someone to come in and say, you've got to do that, or we're gonna sue you, I think that's called extortion. That's just.
I was kind of shocked when they told me, because I saw the guy doing it. In fact, the grocery manager saw him and followed him around for a minute, and then went up and asked him, can I help you with something? Is there a problem? And he just said, no. Took off. But, so, okay, I will let Commissioner Miller know. All right, planning and zoning's recommendation for zoning application on the Bear.
So, planning and zoning met and heard an application for, the rezone of a parcel of property owned by Brandon Bear. I guess I can show you that on this big screen too. So, you are pretty familiar with it already, because we have already annexed all but one piece.
Yeah, keep going. There you go.
Here we go. So we have already annexed this piece and this piece, and now he's requesting this piece to the west for annexation and rezone. So P&Z met, held their public hearings, went through the entire process, and they're making their recommendation here to you, which basically is to rezone it to mixed use 2, like the other pieces, and that's their recommendation for city council. So they'd like to see this additional piece of property in the city, annexed as mixed use 2. It's an annexation type A, meaning the owner has requested, he's asking to be in the city, he wants to be in the city. And so there's no question about whether or not to annex it, he wants to be annexed. The only question is, how are we going to zone it? And the owner is requesting mixed use 2, and they think that's appropriate and fits the area.
Okay, any discussion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we accept the finding of fact from planning and zoning, and proceed with the annexation.
Seconded.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to accept the findings of fact, conclusion, and recommendation from Planning and Zoning Commission. Do we need to do voice for each one?
I don't think so, I think just the
Okay.
all.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And now we have the ordinance.
Now before you is that ordinance for annexation and zoning of that piece of property. Ordinance number 2020-07.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we suspend the rules and read ordinance number 2020-07 by title only, one time.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded, suspend the rules, read ordinance 2020-07, one time by title only. Russ?
Aye.
Rod?
Aye.
Rick?
Aye.
Rod? Aye. Chad?
Aye.
Wendy?
Aye.
Okay, passes. Who would like to read?
I'll read it then if you want.
Okay, Chad?
Ordinance number 2020-07, an ordinance annexing certain lands to the city of St. Anthony, Idaho, describing said lands and declaring the same a part of the city of St. Anthony, Idaho, and the classification of the same under the zoning ordinance of the city of St. Anthony, Idaho, and providing when this ordinance shall become effective.
Very good reading.
I'll make motion, we accept ordinance number 2020-07 as read by title only.
I'll second
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve ordinance 2020-07. Wendy?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Rob?
it. Yes.
Rick? Aye. Rod?
Aye.
Russ?
Aye.
Okay. Unanimous, thank you. Okay, the next thing, the new skate park. And in your packet was kind of what I'm envisioning for this park. And I want, your guys' input. We're sending out in the newsletter, asking for some public input on it. But it's time now that we can apply for a grant. I've talked to the lady over in Boise. Everything in this park is eligible for grant. The RV dump station, skate park, splash pad, pickleball court, it all qualifies for the land conservation water fund grant. So hopefully you had a chance to look at it. Like I say, any ideas, any thoughts? The other two things that I passed out, I've talked to a company about a splash pad, and that's just drawings that the guy did up for me. Originally, I didn't have any idea. I said 100 by 100 foot, and he's going, holy cow. Big cities can't do that. He says, you might want to scale that back. And okay, what do I want to scale it to? If you had a 50 by 50 foot pad, he says that would be a really big, nice pad. That's about the size of an ambulance.
How long is this room?
That room's 80 feet, isn't
Yeah, well, it's pretty much to scale on that picture, pretty close. So the splash pad's 50 by 50, the pickleball court is 50 by 50, and that's big enough to put 2 pickleball courts in. The skate park is 135 feet by 135 feet. The RV dump is big enough that we can put in so trailers can go both ways and dump on both sides. It's 60 foot by whatever the length of the block is. And then that off-street parking, that's like 80 foot by 135 foot. So that way, all the parking doesn't have to be on the street. There's a place to park.
How big is the skate park you've got?
135 by 135.
How does that relate to the
Same
one?
size.
Same size.
It's pretty close to the same size. It's,
Couple feet, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's-
Foot or two.
it's a few feet bigger, not much.
This where it says utility, is that the restroom?
No, that's the utility building for the splash pad.
Be like
Oh,
pump
for the
house.
pumps and stuff.
Scott and I went to Ammon and looked, and I will freely admit that I was surprised. I had no idea all it took to do that. You need a building
Yeah.
and pumps.
I just wondered if you need a restroom
Well,
We do.
and that,
on that park.
And you'd have plumbing there, you could just attach it to the
Oh, yeah.
utility building.
Or we could add another to our porta potties.
well,
That's what we do for all our other parks.
the porta potties was kind of the way I was leaning, having the experience of the bathroom at Kiefer Park when I was an officer.
Oh, yeah.
And I can tell you that was a nightmare.
I can, yeah.
So that's why I was thinking the porta potties, but I certainly am open to, if we wanna build,
And then you gotta have somebody to clean it.
Yeah,
All that
you're
stuff.
you're gonna have a lot more janitorial things.
Yeah.
because
I realize that. I just wondered, it's just something that you need there.
well, like I say, I thought long and hard about it, and I kinda thought, well, if we put porta potties up there, if we decide we need one, we can always build one.
Yeah,
We could plan on it when we're doing the plumbing
yeah,
Yeah,
and have it there and then decide these. Because you'll have people, we've had them break, I think if you do it, you need to do the toilets like the jail has. That so you flush everything and it's not gonna get tore up because the ceramic ones, they're gonna break them off the wall. When they get down there, they're gonna crap in the urinals, they're gonna crap on the floor. It's happened and
that's,
I know.
and unfortunately it's terrible.
I've been to city parks.
wow, so,
Oh, we lost one of our porta potties down the river.
well,
I mean, so you're gonna have vandalism. It will happen.
Well, that's in an area where there's a lot of residents, it might not be as much.
well,
And really, if you really want to do something, you put up some cameras,
well,
that we could deter some.
Set it up so if somebody, police department, somebody locks it up, or have, so it's set up so it locks it at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
We can,
I mean, there's things you can do.
I like the porta potties for now, though. I think
Yeah,
that's
to
a good
start
idea.
with.
Because you can locate things in different places, you can have one here, one there.
I've been in some parks like the Soda Springs, they have a building and an outhouse, and it seems to be not beat up and tore up. I mean, it just depends on the community, I think, a lot.
well, and I don't know why that one at Kiefer Park, and that was part of our job is 9, 10 o'clock, we stopped and locked the doors.
Yeah.
But I know, I mean, they break the window out, climb in, it just was back off the street enough, I guess, that it was a challenge to
Yeah.
see if you could.
This would be a well-traveled area. And, I mean,
Is the state gonna buy the existing park? Do they still want that?
They still want it, and I would use that money as match on the grant.
Yeah. That'd be great. I like what you got here. And I really like the big parking area, because you can get a lot of cars in that area, and that'd be good. You off the street.
And the Tree USA guy was here today with his boss, and he had some good ideas when I showed him this, like along the RV dump, between the RV dump and the park, put kind of a row of trees to kind of block that. Plant a couple of trees, 2 or 3, 4, whatever, around in the parking lot, because in the summer, that's what people are looking for. If they see someplace with shade,
There they go.
go into that. So, I mean, there were some good suggestions for that. So,
we'll probably have the most parks per capita that there is.
we will.
Add another one.
What kind of, I know when Rexburg had the splash park going, they had some issues as far as, keeping it open and the health wise, it seemed like it was shut down a bunch. Is that what kind of cost do you have trying to keep the water clean?
Yep, chlorinate.
Yeah, and all that kind of
Sure.
stuff.
That's why the utility building, they put chlorine, there was a bunch of pumps, different pumps. They have, theirs runs back into a big tank, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And so it's treated there and then pumped. And he didn't seem to think, they didn't have a lot of problem with that.
So you got any idea costs or anything that way, just
The splash pad, with having them do everything, is $200,000. I mean, we can do most of the work as far as preparing the ground and doing all that. The skate park,
does that include the pumps and everything that go with that? Okay.
yeah. The pickleball courts basically is just a cement pad. The RV dump, I don't know if I've talked to Scott to get any kind of an idea. He's got plans for one
From Chalice.
Chalice, so we've already got a set of plans to do it.
I don't think you'd be into it too much, probably 40 to 50,000.
Into the RV, or are you talking
The
more?
RV.
Okay.
And
That's depending if you choose to do like Ashton, they have a credit card. You put in there and pay $5 to dump your trailer.
and I wasn't looking to charge, I want to use it to bring people into
People
town.
into town.
You can have a donation box,
Yeah,
because people will donate if you have one sitting there.
Yeah, just out of, they'll say, thanks, we're glad it's here.
Yeah, so I stopped at the one in Ashton, and that's what they had there too. Not everybody has a credit card. Some of the older people.
So how big of a pavilion are you thinking? Like,
one like over in Horsey
At the
or
Horsey
Boy
Park?
Yancey Park,
okay,
so a pretty good size
yeah,
pavilion.
I think we need that for birthday
'Cause I think-
parties and,
I think during the summer, if you have the splash pad, you're gonna have a lot of
kid parties.
families and kids and moms,
I wonder if we
dads.
set something up so we could say if a family wanted to rent the whole facility for a family reunion, you know, for the day, and they'd have the parking and the pavilion and the splash pad and all that. Is that something they could schedule and say for X dollars, you can have it for the day? Then they don't have to share it with other people if they have a family reunion.
Be kind of hard to keep other people out,
Gonna say that
Yeah.
would be,
But the family could do it. They could say, hey, we've rented it for today.
but you can reserve the pavilion or something. I
Yeah.
don't think you can reserve, it'd be hard to reserve the whole park.
You can already reserve the pavilion
at the
Yeah.
Horsey Park.
Yeah,
So same thing here.
I don't think. I think you'd have a hard time keeping the neighbor
Yeah.
kids out.
That's true.
Maybe over there eating lunch.
You'd think they belong to the other family,
Yeah.
the other side of the family.
yeah. Which kid's that one? I thought he was yours.
You belong with your side.
The mayor first brought up the idea of a splash park to me. I can't believe it's been 3 years ago. It was the first conference we went to. And we didn't even have any idea where you would want to put it or anything when you talked to me about it. I've liked the idea all along. And then when you first mentioned this piece of property for it, I thought it's probably the best place for it in town too, I think. And I've been asking people whenever parks come up, over the past 3 years, and I haven't had a single person who didn't like the idea. In fact, I've got on multiple occasions feedback that, they quit taking their kids at the sandbar because the sandbar tends to be older kids or even into the college age. And so it doesn't feel as friendly to younger kids. And I think this might fill that need. Just my thoughts on it.
The skate park, I'll tell you, to have that professionally built, will scare you clear to death.
What's the state talking? They got any estimate or?
Well, his talking is somehow him us being able to do like, I mean, Theron and the city built that down there. It wasn't for, I don't want to say it's not professionally built because it's one of the nicer ones anywhere around, but, you know, we didn't pay a company to come in here and do it. And I've been talking to a company, and I'll tell you, like I say, that $35 to $45 a square foot is what they estimate.
So when you're talking to the work camp, you know, you got that cost, plus we've already got the land.
Yeah,
So if they want the land, there'll be something in there for that too, I would assume.
oh yeah, I mean, I'm looking 250,000 from them, and they can't have that till we get this done.
How much of is it just the skate park? Is that, is just go to the,
No, they want, I mean, they want as much as they can give. We'll set a limit down, I don't know, somewhere, but they want,
how far?
well, I'm open
I wouldn't
to-
give them any more than you have to.
No, I agree. They're across the street, I mean, there's a strip of ground that we own between the work camp and that apartment building. That, and then whatever we're willing to do at the park, because they need outdoor rec is what
How
they're
far
looking
to the west, I guess, is my question.
for. And that's,
The farthest we dare go is just the end of the school district building.
On which end?
West.
Oh, on the west, clear
That's,
down?
well, that's the farthest. I wouldn't go any farther than that.
I was thinking more like the east end. I wouldn't go to the west end. You're gonna be right on top of your park down there with that.
Yep. And I'm sure, imagine their plans would be eventually to take the skate park out, but I'm sure they don't want their guys to be skate.
fall down and hurt
Getting
themselves.
wounded.
Yeah, I'm talking to the east end of that, not clear to the west, you know.
Which way do you want me to go?
East is to the right.
Yeah, but
East is where it says St. Anthony, the end of the school shop.
Just move your.
Basically the size of the skate
This
park.
is what-
So those two are
Yeah,
ours now,
that's what
right?
they're
And it's
saying,
all,
they want
that's
it.
all.
Yeah, the
just
two-
us on it.
Yeah, straight in line with that.
What's, do we own that trail?
Everything is.
Yeah,
green.
yeah.
Everything is green is us, okay.
Yeah,
so how much do they want to buy?
Much as they can.
Much as they can get, huh?
Oh,
Yeah, they'll take everything they can get. We haven't discussed
The price
how
has to be
far,
right.
well,
Well, if they go over the west edge of the school district building, that's not getting infringe on anything, is it?
that's getting pretty close. Cause we're gonna be right down there close with the, I don't know,
Well, there's still probably what, 60, 80 feet there? Down by where that school bus is up by the building now, would it be, if you just went straight up from the west end of the building, straight north, it almost lines up with that lot line on the very top of Brown. Takes in about half of that walking path thing there.
It's a bike path.
Bike path, yeah, it takes 2/3 of that.
And what you do, what would happen is in the middle where there you see that dirt, that's a bicycle jumps.
Oh.
That'd be gone.
Yeah,
Yeah, your sidewalk would be gone.
yeah, I'd like to keep as much of that as we can. Don't-
Can you, move northeast toward the work camp? How much room is between? So that alley to the north of their parking lot,
You know, that grass.
all that grass,
Oh, right there, yeah.
okay. Yeah, I guess it depends what they ask for.
you know, and they're, that work camp's a real asset to the city too. You
Yeah,
know, it brings in a lot of good paying jobs, long-term jobs, retirement benefits, so. And it's a good asset for our community also.
When they add on to it, they're gonna have to staff it probably another 15 to 20.
Yeah. Good paying jobs.
Well, and there is a local guy that has expressed interest, and I haven't met with him yet. I was gonna take him somewhere where we can get on a computer and I'll show him that company that I've been talking to, their website, and it's got construction pictures. I mean, he does concrete for a living, and because, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know that we can afford one of these companies to come in. You're talking $500,000 to $800,000 just for the skate park.
And I don't know how many swimming pool people build swimming pools around here. Is there any companies that build swimming pools? It's the same principle.
Yeah,
It's the same set. It's the same, they use.
I don't see too many in this community.
Not this community, but, you know, out of Salt Lake, there's something that's swimming pools. It's the same process.
well, the pictures that I've seen, they do that spray creed or whatever, where they make the forms and then spray it. I don't think Theron did that.
No. He formed it all, and he'd come in on Thursday, and then he goes, I need this deck like this. I said, when do you need it? He says, tomorrow.
Well, that's why I say Scott and Theron did the majority of that down there. So we have expertise here if we can tap into it. But,
If they're the money, give you expertise.
Theron may not be up to
do work.
it.
well, no,
He may balk a little bit.
I've talked to him about it, and I'll be honest, he's not very excited about that.
Yeah.
Not
That
that
believes
way
in
with,
that.
yeah, he's,
I can understand.
Yeah, cause he's got a lot
That's
of work
it.
in
I-
there.
yeah, that's a lot of sweat equity he's got down there. That's his
big.
baby.
3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I,
it's too bad you just can't move it.
Yeah.
well,
I think he's old and tired. We were at Lisa Yancey having lunch last week, and him and his buddies, you know, were sitting there. After a minute, he said, well, you guys keep talking, I'm going home to take a nap. And it was about 2:30, 3 o'clock. I thought, oh, bless your heart, get home tired. He's a good man.
No, he would do that at lunchtime too. He'd go home, he'd get late because he took a nap, but he'll stay up half the night.
Oh, he's as good as they come, that
so I mean, I don't have all the figures, because I want to talk to the local guy to see if he thinks he could do it.
Yeah.
And to be real honest, we have a skate park. You know, this is a lot more the work camp needs than the city
exactly.
needs.
Yeah,
And it's a good one.
Yeah, that's what I said. And I've told Glenn, every time we talk, the skate park, if we build one, has to be every bit as good
Yeah.
as the one we have.
And it shouldn't cost us any more money.
Wow.
no,
Yeah.
So,
they gotta pay
Or
enough
we're
to
losing
replace
ground,
it,
yeah.
whatever it costs.
so I guess I'm kind of looking for an okay to proceed, look at the grant, talk to
Yeah,
I'm good with it.
people.
Well, how big are grants or what's available? What can you do? Do you know that at all? Or
Mayor is doing this one.
It's, like I say, the lady, when I talked to her and I sent her that picture, she was going, wow, everything you're doing can be covered under this grant. You can apply and for all of it, but she's figuring they're gonna have $2 to $3 million to hand out this year in the grants.
and this is something you could build on every year for a few years if you had to.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't have to all be done at once.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be done at once. So,
Is it possible, are you saying then that it may be fully paid for with grant money?
between, with their match, using that money for match,
And then
and
some
the city work that we can do, I think we could probably get it all paid for with a grant.
They gotta go for it, see what we can come up with.
Yeah, got anything to lose.
No, I really like the idea of moving that skate park over here on the fourth floor. That, it's centralized, I think it'd be better. It'd just be good. It's somewhere people can see it, that's good.
I know there's been problems down here at this one, because they're kind of isolated.
Well, they're way isolated. Nobody ever goes, there's no traffic.
Yeah,
The biggest danger they have down there is running over a bunny.
and I know the neighbors,
Stay out of the neighborhood, right?
Sorry.
I know that some of the neighbors that are live close enough have complained to me a little bit about it because of the language that comes out of those kids.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And
that's what I told Glenn, I says, I'm not worried about your guys, I'm worried about the kids, your guys learning
I
something new
know
from the
there's been
kids.
several that have been busted down there for drugs and everything else
Wow.
at that skate park.
Hmm.
Not always kids from here, that's kids
Oh,
from
no,
other
it's,
places, but
See, that one down there's not lit at all, is it?
No,
no. We used to have a camera on the work camp, I don't,
yeah, it's not there no more. And being lit is some of the reasons there's streetlights there. Some of the reasons we stopped it is because the park's closed at 10 o'clock at night.
and I don't think you want to light one,
And it's a matter of
no.
because that way,
enforcement. Are you
No, I
gonna
was saying, but
close the park
if
at
we
10?
just a street light on that corner, natural street
yeah,
light, will deter a lot of late night negative activity because there's kind of a light there.
Yeah.
So. Well, we can work out. those
But if you're
details.
doing the grants, then you can add a system in there for recording.
You can.
To look at this stuff. If you're building it up. And to monitor the state, to monitor the shelter, to monitor that. And so.
Well, we're
if they
close
know that,
enough,
cut vandalism down.
it could be transmitted to City Hall, or that's nothing to transmit.
Yeah.
Have a couple of cameras and beam it over here.
And we could just put lighting in it, in the grant we're going for. Close it at a certain hour, but if you had cameras on it, if you did have vandalism, now, if you caught them once or twice, the kids, or whoever's doing it, would learn, hey, they're gonna get us here.
so if they know they're being recorded, they're less likely to do it in the
That's true.
first place. If you
Yeah.
got a sign sit down there that says this place is monitored by a video camera.
You know, and
On a
maybe one of
30-06.
those too is do like Blackwood, is make sure there's a way to lock the skate park up, some of the other stuff up. If vandalism does occur, you lock it up, and the vandalism quits because they self-govern.
That's true.
And they did it in Blackwood, is they blocked it up and within
Yeah,
2
they
or 3
just shut it
days.
down, didn't they?
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
right.
it was self-governed and the stuff stopped, everything stopped.
Yeah, you could, if you had to, fence it and lock it and just say, okay, that's where you're gonna treat it, and the kids will clean it up.
Right.
Oh, yeah, cause the couple of times when I was working and there was vandalism, it wasn't local kids, it was kids from out of town that came in and decided to tag it up for us. So probably half the time at least it isn't our kids doing
Our kids will never do
it. Sugar City, those creative.
it. I wasn't gonna say that.
Okay, treasurer's report.
For you is the treasurer's report ending September 31st, 2020. That's our fiscal year end. Our auditors are coming next month, and we're already preparing for that. So you don't have a fund summary until they get to look at it and move receivables from October that really belong into September and other issues like that. A quick, cursory review of our general fund shows that it's going to be a little different than it has in the past few years. We budgeted for using our contingency by about $85,300. we used 76,300. So we still came well within our budget. But it's one of the closest ones we've ever done in the years that I've been here, probably in the last 5 years. We're not over by any means, but we are using that contingency as we decided we were gonna do. So I'm kind of excited. They'll probably look even better after they get done moving revenues from October into September, because we've got a lot of state liquor fund revenue and highway revenue, things like that coming in. I'm gonna try to write a grant on the streets again this year through LTAP for chip and sealing. It's gonna be really tough to get it. Competition's really tough. We've lost 2 of our employees who were road scholars and road masters, I think that's what they're called. And so it's gonna be a lot harder to get any of that money. But financially, the city is doing well. And so that's my trend.
Okay. In the package, you received the minutes from the last meeting. Any additions, subtractions, corrections?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from October 8th of 2020.
Second.
Okay, motion made, seconded to approve the minutes from October 8th, 2020. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. The bills. Any questions on any of those?
I have a question on the sewer, Edstrom Construction, 38,000. Is that with the new project out there? Is that
No, that was the pressure line from the lift station over here at the high school to the manhole. Because this is about the 4th time we popped the hole, we got a hole in it, so we put a new line.
Oh,
We put in a.
so that was kind of an
That was
unexpected.
unexpected. And that was when they originally built that, when they did the high school, they put in a real cheap thin wall from for sewer pipe. Now we put in C900 for good thick wall, that's gonna last.
So will that have to come out of where Patty contingency, we have, we're
No, that should be.
Come out of sewer fund.
Maintenance.
a sewer fund, but is it not? I guess there's monies there.
No, there should be pretty close. There should have been money in the construction maintenance for that.
Okay, that's what was my question.
I had a question on the development company, the 37,000 industrial park. Is that paying on that loan?
That's another lot. Yeah, hang on that phone.
Okay. And then the 20,000 for the sod at the ballpark, was that just to purchase the sod or that layout?
Let's purchase the lane, so.
Okay. Grass isn't cheap, is it?
No,
There's a lot of grass there though.
There is a little grass.
50,000 square feet, 57,000 square feet. And to me, it's well worth it for taxes.
Yes.
Anybody else?
I'll make a motion, we accept or pay the bills for 10/3 to 10/16/2020.
I'll second it.
Okay, motions made and seconded to approve the bills from October 3rd to October 16th. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll excuse the chief. He's training for the Navy. They finally decided that they could safely take him, so he's over in Seattle. Scott?
Okay, a couple things on the sewer project out here on the highway. We, across the Banks property, we pulled that, come to find out we have 4 foot of lava rock, 650 feet long. Don't have an official price on it. Tentatively about $100 grand to have it blasted and removed and new stuff all.
Engineer is a little more accurate than we thought. We're getting
We
closer.
knew there was lava, but we didn't know there was that much.
So we're getting closer and
And
closer.
we, you know, we reserved the point of saying let's go pothole because it don't matter if you pothole or not. Got the lava's there. And so that's where that one is.
What's your option? Any options or not?
We can spend approximately 100,000 for blasting it and then digging it out and hauling away, then hauling new dirt back in. Some of that dirt's still good, but most of it you'll have to get rid of. Or we rent a bigger hammer on an excavator for $40,000 a month. And then you gotta figure about $7,500 for the operator for a month. They still gotta haul it and they still gotta haul stuff back. So it's about a toss. Blasting's gonna be faster.
A lot faster.
A lot easier. It's gonna still take them 2 to 3 weeks to drill it and blast it. But I don't have the official number yet. It hasn't come in. They're still working out the fine details. That's.
So you're saying they're gonna have that road closed for at
No.
least that long?
No,
When will it be open?
it's depends on if you wanna continue with the other part of the
I
project.
don't.
So that's where that, so if we're gonna keep going with it, we need to spend $100,000, or not even blast it, to continue this project. So the next one is, just got it today, is the extension going up 500 from the lift station down to Teton Highway, up 500, and that's come in at 155,000. That's above everything that we've already talked about. That's that extension up to 500. So
How far up?
we go up to Cannons, which is the last house on the right. About 600 feet up, 500.
It's 500. Something the road Chandler goes on.
No.
No,
No.
So
500.
500.
The hot
Hot
hole.
hole.
All right, I'm with you.
and so, and if we don't go down 500, they can have the Teton Highway open for traffic probably in about a week. It's not gonna be paved, but it'll be open for traffic.
That one right there, that's right.
Yeah.
And that's only down past Cannons,
Yes, up to Cannon's house.
Is that
It'll
this
start
last one
right
right here?
there. Yeah.
Right here.
How far did we annex?
Well, we didn't quite.
We didn't annex those, did we?
He had more than 65 acres.
Yeah.
We got all the other houses there.
Is there anyone
On
in the
500?
connection that's indicated in it?
I was, Grundy's, which is the second house in.
Yeah.
They were having sewer problems. They called Patty and jumped on her pretty good about, we're in the city now, I want sewer now. Ours is failing. Well, apparently they got it fixed. They had somebody come in and fix it. And that was one of the reasons why we were going up 500.
Was this extra $200,000, was it talked about before the plan was put together? Or is it all on top of what was originally planned on,
The original,
spending on the project?
no, the original plan was to do the Teton Highway, which is from the airport lift station going south.
And the dollar amount for that was predicted.
It was 400.
Approved for
$425,000.
And that was already approved and discussed and talked about.
Right. And then later on, we talked about it with the mayor and I believe in the council is, do you want to go down 500? We have a need to go down 500. So it was said, yes, we got the engineering done. And this, finally got the cost estimate, because we had to move it out into the road, which increased it by about 50,000 for pavement. And so that's where that cost, that's kind of above it.
So with the 6 feet of lava, 600 feet long, that's on top of the 400,000 that was already.
Yes, the numbers I've given you tonight is everything that's on top of the 400,000.
And we didn't have a clue or knew anything about that extra.
We
before
kind of knew
started.
about the 500, but the original cost estimate for the engineer was 105,000. But what since then we had to move it out into the road, so now we gotta repave half the Teton Highway. Because there's too much clutter over in there. In
I
the
think like you were just saying, the engineer's first report to us was around 650.
Yeah, that's,
That was just for the Teton
yeah, that
Highway.
was, yeah. So we were about 650 originally on just the original
But our
project.
bids came back.
Come in at 425.
Correct,
So if you add another 200,000 of that, we're still about in our minds where we were initially gonna spend just for the one, which will get that one done plus 500.
correct.
So that's about where we are.
So
So we're
we're,
back about the original dollar amount we had anticipated, but we're picking up 500 in the deal, 500 more.
Correct. we might be a little more than the 600,000, the 600 that we estimated, because,
So Grindy was part of the annexation,
correct.
correct? But Cannon wasn't because he's
Cannon
too
was
much,
not,
because of the acreage
because of the,
Which home there's cannons? I
the
don't.
last
The bigger
one
one.
That last
on the
square.
right.
to the east,
Oh,
That
right there.
No,
that-
No, on
That's
the
just
side.
like
Yeah.
Right
Oh,
there.
that one. Oh, okay, that's cannon.
we're going up, the plan is to go up to about his driveway,
Okay. All right, and Grandy's is next door?
to the left, yes.
Okay. Oh, all right.
So what about, does that run down that road into, Colby Craypost? Is that part of
No,
the
that's
annex?
485, that's.
Yeah, is that part of the annexation or not?
Yes, he was not annexed either.
Oh, he was not,
No.
okay, because of the acre, yeah, okay.
Because they, I don't think he has city services.
Yeah,
I think he's still on a well and
Yeah,
septic.
that's him down in the.
Yeah.
Right
end
there to the right.
With
Yeah,
your
that-
cursor
Right
right
down
down
here,
that way.
right there.
Yeah, that's.
That is
Do
tentatively,
those other up on the front part
yes,
of that
those are
have,
all annexed, they all have water.
they have water?
I
Yes,
think they updated our city line. Can you turn on that later?
I think if we got them annexed, we better run it down there, is my feeling. I mean, we better have service there.
I agree.
so the only one we haven't really looked at yet is 485, which is the one Colby Claypool lives on.
That
We're
orange
gonna
line is
hold
the
off on
city
that
line.
until there's
That's the city limit.
possibly demand for it.
Is that the new city limit with the annexation?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good to see. Huh. Well, I think we ought to go, I mean, the project needs to be done, and I think we're gonna come in within a reasonable dollar amount. I would have been shocked if there weren't some change orders in this country with lava.
Yeah,
Yeah, the lava.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
that's something you don't, you can spend the money to pothole it and say, yeah, there's lava here, there's lava here, there's lava here.
You still don't know.
Big deal, you
What
gotta,
difference does it make?
yeah, you either gotta,
If you're gonna go there, you still gotta take
you
the
gotta dig it
lava
out.
out.
Well, and we were really lucky to get the bid so low, because it's given us just $225,000 buffer
Yeah,
to absorb some of this change order stuff, and to add in the 500 north, so.
and one of the things is like 500, when this is all done, there's enough gravity feed, we can go clean up to that canal
Really?
with gravity feed.
Oh, you can, good.
Wow.
And I think a little past it.
Well, and you got people across north on 500 that have asked about city services.
Oh, you have,
We
really?
had
Up
this
in there?
area right here,
Yeah,
Yep.
ask for city services.
That'd be great. Well, hopefully the residents will see that we were sincere about the annexation. We weren't trying to just stick them for more taxes. We wanted to provide the service and clean it up, so.
we got, right now, we were down there doing some potholing in Vance's field, and The second house in come over and he goes, when in the hell are you gonna get this done so I can hook up?
That must have been Wright.
David Wright.
Yeah.
David Wright.
Yeah, and I've been talking to Myron Powell, and Myron says, well, I'm just gonna hook up because I've replaced mine 3 times since 1973.
Sure.
Who said that?
Myron,
Oh, my.
Myron was one that said he's replaced his 3 times. But it was David Wright that said, when are you gonna get it done?
yeah, so he said, well, when you come through, I'm just gonna hook up and be done with
Well, yeah.
it. And so,
Well, and I agree with Rick, I think,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I think it's important that the people see, you know, the city, we were serious when we said we're gonna take care of this. And we're doing it faster than I ever thought we would, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I was figuring it was gonna be 2 or 3 years. And to do it now, I just think that,
Let's get it done.
plus also part of the blasting for Vance Field is possibly gonna be paid for by the developer. We're still negotiating, the mayor's gonna have to negotiate with him and figure out what's.
How close are their houses to where they're gonna blast?
I don't know, we're gonna be ready.
Gets our liability insurance.
Yeah, cause I remember they put this highway through town.
The liability
We
goes to the
had
blast.
several people suing the city, I think, or suing somebody.
All the things fall off the shelf.
Yeah.
Huh?
Patty's gonna be getting the phone call.
Well, and we contacted Eagle Rock Blasting and they told us that they'll go and they'll videotape all the foundations, they'll videotape the whole house. And I think they'll have seismographs there, because this is what it did, this is how much it shook. He said, it's gonna have some move, it's gonna shake. Because they're gonna drill holes, I think, every 3 feet for 650 feet, and see this go.
I want to watch. You know, I'd like to add just one quick thing there. We annexed these people and it was pretty contentious, but it was done. And now we're providing service quickly. But here's the point I want to bring out. And it might be complicated and everybody might look at it a little differently, but over the years I've been on the council, Patty has really held our feet to the fire, demanded that we keep our rates where they ought to be and maybe even take a rate increase once in a while. Because she kept saying, we gotta have money in the account. And some of us, we've been pro and con, and that, I think that's good for council. But I think I want to give a little credit here to Patty because of partly her management and her insistence that sometimes might have made us mad or whatever. We had the money in there, and it's not the only reason, but that's one of the big ones. That the money was there to actually say, okay, we've annexed you, here's your sewer and water. We had the money to do it and to absorb 200,000 in changes. So I just want to say that I think Patty's done a good job of that.
The council needs, and Patty, the whole city has done a great job, and it was nice to be able to say, we've got the money, let's do this, instead of having to go to a SIPTA and have a $600,000 job turn into a $5 million job.
Yeah, yes, I do.
And just remember one thing, if you go to the federal government, ask for money, you ain't gonna like the rates they're gonna tell you have to do.
That's right.
No.
So.
When
your
Patty
little bit
says,
of
hey, we need to
increases
take
are
a tax
nice when you
increase.
do them. But these increases,
They're killing us.
people don't like them. You seen it when they did the sewer bond. There wasn't a council member that was up for election that was reelected. Because they says, oh, you guys did this to us. We had no choice. And that's unfortunate that they have to dictate how much you gotta,
Yeah,
Well, and
one
that-
nice thing about being able to do it yourself.
yeah.
That's the first words out of Ted Hendricks' mouth whenever you mention a water or sewer project. Well, you guys gotta raise your rates, you're not even close. So. Okay, thanks for good news, Scott.
Anytime.
We'll have more, I'm sure.
Next week, we'll probably start putting up, if it's really warmer, we'll put up and start putting decorations up. Get ready for Christmas.
And is the bridge finished?
You can drive across it.
Oh, I drove back and forth a lot.
I've used it a lot, yeah, too.
I enjoy driving on it.
So, I cut it more or less. They have an issue with the storm drain they put in under, on the south side under the health district's driveway.
Yeah.
Well, there's 3 holes in it. And so I talked to the engineer today, the one that oversees it. And he says, well, they asked if we could just forget it and not get paid for it. I said, no, you're gonna fix it. So they're gonna either have to dig it up across the driveway and the curb they just put in and replace it, or they could do, it's called cured in place pipe. That we done it in town here, and I did it when I was in Colorado for a while, and it's just a pipe, it's a felt line pipe, they impregnate it with like an epoxy resin, turn it inside out and cure it with steam, and it's just like the PVC you see, it's hard as a rock. So they're gonna look at that option too. So I said, no, they're gonna either dig it up and fix it or reline it. And that's about one of the few things, other than cleaning up the mess. And nobody's been there for 3 days.
I was gonna say, I haven't seen equipment stuff.
And Rob was, the engineer was gonna call him and say, you need to get up there, get this done, or we're gonna start the job back up again, and you're gonna start getting penalty of $1,500 a day. So, that, other than that, I think everything else is done on the bridge except for that, and they gotta put sod in for District 7. And they're holding off on that because they don't know if they gotta dig that up yet. That's it.
We received a $500 donation to the baseball fields that are being built from Superior Asphalt. They're out Pocatello. They're doing the asphalt fix-up jobs for the gas line things. And Councilmember Wilmore visited with them, and the next day he wrote a check and handed it to.
Yeah, can I just
Go ahead.
say what happened? I was out to the mill Friday after our last council meeting, and standing in the office, and this guy come in and got a big trailer load of lumber, and he forgot his checkbook. He was in there talking, and my dad says, he was mentioning that he's the one that's doing all this asphalt in town behind in Mountain Gas. And my dad said, well, if you're gonna come back over to my neighborhood and fix the roads, or fix the holes, then I said, yeah, we talked about that last night in city council. And I said, I was on city council, he perked up and he goes, I want to tell you, he says, I have worked all over this state, Utah, Nevada. He says, St. Anthony has been the best town I have worked in by 10 times than anywhere else. He says, the people are kind, they're understanding. And he said, I live in Pocatello, and it's me and I just a small company. He's got 2 sons and 7 employees. And he just says, I would drive to St. Anthony every day from Pocatello if I could work here.
You know, I had a visit with him on our street, because he was riding on the roller finishing it off. And he stopped and we visited, and he told me exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
That what a great community it was and how nice it was to work here.
And he said, I forgot my checkbook. I'll bring you guys a check Monday. And he says, by the way, I want to bring you a $500 donation for that ball field that looks so nice down there.
Cool.
He says, we've staged our equipment down there, and he says, everybody's just been wonderful to work with. And so I just thought that was a good thing for our city. It says a lot about people here.
I had Mayor write him a nice thank you letter, and I kept his card because I think he's got the right equipment for our greenway down there. He's got small enough equipment.
The
Which is hard to
greenway,
find.
airport,
He has 4-foot paver.
Yeah.
yeah,
So, didn't know that, so. That was
great,
a-
great guy. Great guy.
And they-
That's a
and
good
they did
deed
good
that
work.
probably pay off
Yeah,
well.
I thought,
I've been impressed with
in
it.
our neighborhood, they did really good, they were careful.
So then I gave you your Idaho Community Trees publication, and other than that, we're just, busy working away. I have have promoted Brenda Blue to the Planning and Zoning Administrator, and she's been doing all the P and Z meetings starting in October, and the first time in 12 years, I haven't had to go to a P and Z meeting. So I'm very excited.
They
She's
won't know
doing
how to
really well.
run it with that.
Oh, they're doing awesome. In fact, they're ready to take on redoing the comprehensive plan again. So, and that's all I have here for. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Chad,
Nothing for me, Mayor.
Wendy.
So Dr. Kirschner at Fremont Vet called me yesterday. And she's trying to put together some kind of a plan for all these feral cats that we have. Not that we can trap them or shoot them or whatever, but she would like to kind of see about getting with, like the guy here and a couple of the places that are overrun with the cats. And she wants to do this. She's not asking us to talk to anybody or whatever, but she'd like to kind of get with some of them and see if she could put together a feral cat spay neuter program, to where like this guy across the street, she'd scoop up his cats, spay neuter them, bring them back, unfortunately, and drop them back at his house. But it would help eliminate, some of the kittens and the problems that we're having with that. So she just kind of wanted me to let you guys know that she's looking as her own business as trying to maybe get some grants to help with, cover her costs of the veterinary part of it. But she's really wanting to kind of take this on, as something in the community and kind of help with whatever she can, possibly help with. So, she might be in contact with us or coming, but she said she's trying to kind of crunch some numbers, and basically her and her staff are gonna kind of be the ones that take this on. She's not asking any of us to go door to door or anything like that, but, so anyway, Fremont Vet's really kind of trying to help, the best that she can and whatnot. So I told her I'd let you guys know that she's working on some kind of plan to help. Yeah, so,
That's good.
yeah, that's all I wanted to tell you.
Rick,
Ron.
I got two quick things. City council next month is the second one's on Thanksgiving Day. I'd like to make a motion to cancel that meeting that night.
We'll be on your next agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good enough. And then Scott, I had two people this week ask if we could, the street lines between Maverick and Arctic Circle, that divide those three lanes, or if those could be repainted, because they both said, we got hit. I was in there the other day. So, to define where those three other turning, you know what I mean? If those can be painted back on the street, the ones on the side street coming onto Bridge Street.
I would wait for the wear off more and move it over to the left a little bit.
I agree with that. I think they could be moved and give that more room on the south to turn in much, I totally agree. And maybe, anyway, if we can attack that when you get,
You can get them late in the year for painting.
Rexburg's painting right now. They're painting the street.
Well, that's Rexburg.
I know,
We ain't Rexburg.
and we're colder, but I just worry, just the traffic. And if so, I don't know.
The snow's gonna cover it up pretty soon anyway.
Yeah.
And then we'll plow it.
That's gonna be probably a road.
Really? Well, they were concerned, so there you go. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay.
No bad anything.
Russell.
Nothing there.
Oh. Bill.
Are you on mute, Bill? Do you want to talk to us?
I always want to talk to you, Ken. I assume you can hear me. I'm having trouble to find hearing you guys.
We can hear you wonderfully.
Okay, Lorraine Taylor is about the only thing I have to report. Court ruled on Lorraine Taylor's case this and ruled in the city's favor. We apparently did everything right, and so the court has given us, it's okay to go ahead and tear down that house. That's my report, that's all I have.
How soon can we act on that, Bill?
Well, you know, Scott's been out of town, so the mayor did volunteer to get on the machine and do the initial tear down. My suggestion was to wait the 42-day period that you would have to appeal, but we don't have to wait. We've got the judgment, that's all we need.
Think we ought to call the paper or the TV?
I think we should.
He
See if they'd like to hear the
specifically
other
told-
side of the story.
No.
He told me when I told him I was gonna go get the loader, and he says, don't you call. Okay.
All you have to do is give me something that, last I heard, when I talked to Patty, she talked to Dylan, and he said, I need some sign from the judge. And if you
Dylan's
want it
waiting for
done,
the
you tell
judge's
me
signature.
you want it done.
And then when that happens, then we will proceed.
Because I got it lined out with somebody with an excavator with a thumb and for the, at least for this, rest this week and first part of next week, I could call him and give him a day's notice and he'll be here.
That'd be sweet.
Thank you, Bill.
You can go back to sleep now.
Thank you, Mayor.
Sorry. And I have nothing. Let's call it a night.
I still think she's looking. She was there this morning in her pajamas out front doing something. The door was fucking back. Really? Yes. I don't see a problem.